History is being made this week on Capitol Hill as the Senate moves closer to approving Judge Amy Coney Barrett to a seat on our nation's highest court. Republicans on the Senate Judiciary Committee have voted to advance Judge Barrett's Supreme Court nomination to the full Senate, despite continued resistance from Democrats.
So the idea that Judge Barrett is some sort of neutral arbiter who will only interpret the law as it is written is just not believable. She will make hugely impactful decisions that could alter the fabric of American society, starting with what will be one of her very first cases, a lawsuit pushed by President Trump and Republicans to rip away health care from millions of Americans. God save us.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell confirms the full Senate vote on Barrett's nomination on Monday, October 26th, capping one of the shortest periods from nomination to confirmation for Supreme Court justice in U.S. history. Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa sits on the Senate Judiciary Committee and joins us now from Capitol Hill. Senator, welcome back. Why do you believe Judge Amy Coney Barrett should be confirmed to the Supreme Court?
Judge Amy Coney Barrett has proven to be a fair jurist. She is extremely knowledgeable. I have sat through all of our judiciary hearing meetings, have heard her wonderful qualifications, and the fact that, according to, so many of us, and what is important to me and to all Iowans and Americans, is that she will uphold our Constitution. So I do believe that she has a place on our Supreme Court, and I'm very excited about the opportunity to put her on the Supreme Court.
I want to discuss a specific moment during your questioning of Judge Amy Coney Barrett last week when you read from the Susan B. Anthony List's coalition letter. Let's take a listen.
Quite apart from whatever policy views she may have on the matter, Judge Barrett reasons to a proper result in each case before her. As a federal appellate judge appropriately following controlling precedent, in February 2019, she joined a panel decision upholding a law creating a buffer zone around abortion facilities.
Senator, I think some viewers may be surprised to hear that Judge Barrett ruled in favor of an abortion facility last year. Why did you point this out, and what does this reveal to you?
Well, again, it was important to point this out, and while I am proudly pro-life, and I know that Judge Barrett in her personal life is also a pro-life woman, but that's what the left has been attacking her on, is her faith, her religion, the fact that she is pro-life. So it was important for me to point out that those are false attacks, because the judge is ruling on the law and the precedent. And so I just wanted to prove to them that when she steps into that courtroom with that black robe on, then she becomes a very fair jurist looking at jurisprudence with jurisprudence at the law and upholding our Constitution. And she can set those personal values aside and just simply rule upon the law. It was extremely important to point that out because, again, it's false attacks coming from the left on the basis of her faith.
What did you make of your Democratic colleagues' line of questioning regarding the pro-life letters Judge Barrett had previously signed?
Well, I thought, again, it's outrageous just because she had signed letters expressing her faith and the fact that she is pro-life. That is in a personal capacity. Just because she is a judge doesn't mean she gives up a personal life. The important thing, again, is to point out the cases that she has ruled on, that she has been an impartial jurist, and that she is following the law. She can put aside those personal feelings. So I thought it was very inappropriate for them to bring those letters up because she still is an individual and has individual rights. And for her to sign those letters was completely acceptable to me.
Joe Biden has said he is not a fan of court packing, but will make his view on it known before Election Day. Meanwhile, a number of your Republican Senate colleagues introduced this week a proposal to protect the number of justices on the highest court. Senator Ernst, what's your response to packing the court?
Well, I am a co-sponsor on that resolution. I'm proud to be co-sponsoring with Senator Marco Rubio, Senator Ben Sasse, and others to uphold the number of justices at 9. This has been part of our tradition and history for over 150 years. So when the Democrats are out there talking about packing the court, which means expanding the number of seats on the Supreme Court, I think it is outrageous. I think it is outrageous that Vice President Biden has stated that the American people don't deserve to know where he stands on packing the court. I think we should be spreading that far and wide, that he doesn't think the American public deserve to know what he is thinking about a very, very important part of our third branch of government. What the Democrats are looking for is a super legislature. We need to put our feet down and say, absolutely not on our watch.
Senator Joni Ernst of Iowa, thank you for your time.
Yes, thank you.
Joining us now for analysis via Skype is Chuck Donovan, president of the Charlotte Lozier Institute. Chuck, first, the Senate is set to vote on Supreme Court nominee Amy Coney Barrett, and she is likely to be confirmed. Can you put this moment into perspective for us?
Well, I think there are lots of ways to put it. For one, she's an original and an originalist. That is, she's a judge who will decide cases based on the meaning of the Constitution, proper interpretation of statutes. She's an original in that she was #1 in her class at Notre Dame, served on the Supreme Court, has been held in high esteem by her students, elected Professor of the Year 3 times, and she's a remarkable mother too. She lives what she believes in.
Chuck, thousands of protesters gathered in D.C. just this past weekend for the Women's March to protest Amy Coney Barrett, many marching in support of abortion. Chuck, we're seeing a lot of rhetoric from abortion advocates right now that a Justice Barrett would mean back alley abortions and harm to women. But your group just this week released the findings of a robust study on pregnancy centers, which really debunks these claims. What were the main findings of your new study, Chuck?
Well, the new study covered 2,700 pregnancy centers across the United States. There are many overseas. We noted that they had seen through our survey of the centers something approaching 2 million clients. They served half of them for abstinence education, the other half for pregnancy tests, for ultrasound services, almost 500,000 free ultrasounds given out. But the most striking thing is how the centers are expanding their medical presence. We're now in the 35th year since ultrasound was introduced at pregnancy centers, and they're adding services like dealing with human trafficking and opioid addiction as the general situation in our society really becomes more complex every day.
Chuck, if Roe versus Wade is overturned, what role would pregnancy centers provide?
Well, they're going to be on the front lines. I think we have to be frank with ourselves, Catherine, that even with all the pregnancy services out there, we have something in the neighborhood of 800,000 abortions every year. And almost half of them are taken by chemical abortion. What that means is medical support for these women is going to be remote. So they need to be able to count on pregnancy centers up close and personal. They need to take more services out through things like mobile units. But we have to be a lot more robust than we are, even though we found this was a record amount of pregnancy care.
Absolutely. Speaking of Roe versus Wade and the Supreme Court, can I get your reaction to some Democratic politicians advocating for court packing if Joe Biden is elected president?
Yeah, well, it's very worrisome. It goes all the way back to Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who originally proposed it. He was rejected by his fellow Democrats who held him in the highest esteem. And they saw what we see. Court packing will be a two-way street. You'll end up with dozens of people on the Supreme Court each time an administration changes. There won't be continuity in the law. There'll be chaos. And for that reason, we think it's a very, very bad idea.
Chuck, lastly, there has been a lot of fear-mongering over Roe v. Wade, and if it is overturned, for your last word, is there anything you want to clarify for our viewers about any misunderstandings that could be out there?
Well, absolutely. You know, we have to get the justice part of this right, which is the right to life of every human being is the same regardless of age, condition, medical need, and so forth. Now we have to get the mercy part even better. Our report shows we've got a lot going, but we have to do more. And post-Roe doesn't have to be like pre-Roe.
Chuck Donovan, president of the Charlotte Lozier Institute, thank you.
You're welcome.